Hey, what's up guys, it's Booga Lord here, and I'm back again with another Final Fantasy VII Rebirth videos because it appears that Tetsuya Nomura has confirmed that there are in fact 3 different timelines, or 3 different worlds, I would say. So I just really wanted to discuss and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. So before we dive into this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. Now, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of discussion about whether or not is there multiple timelines in the Final Fantasy VII Remake universe that's been established since the game has launched. Now, you guys already know my opinion on how I feel about the story and the direction that they're taking one of my most beloved Final Fantasy entries of all time. So we're not going to get into that. You can check it out in plenty of my other videos that I'll leave in the card or description below. But in this particular video, I want to talk about the timelines because there was quite a few confusion or theories, or I would say speculation, that some people were saying that this in fact is only one timeline. I don't know how people had drawn that conclusion. And then you have other people who have pretty much speculated that there is in fact 2 different timelines, for the simple fact is that the dog that was represented in Final Fantasy VII Remake had certainly changed its breed in the other timeline once we found out that Zack was in fact still alive. And yes, he is still alive. We have gotten that out of the way as well. But from there, many people thought that, hey, there's only 2 timelines: the Final Fantasy VII Remake timeline, and then of course the now new timeline that was created, which is Zack. Now, there's a post here on Twitter where the Final Fantasy VII Twitter has said that the creator and creative director Tetsuya Nomura, this artwork represents the 3 worlds that form the axis of the story of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Sephiroth is in the center as he represents the instigator of the events of the past. So this really is a telltale sign here of what we can essentially expect here. Now, you have Cloud on one end, and you have Zack on the other. Now, what we do see is that Cloud on the left is definitely representing the current timeline that we in, which is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then we also have Zack on the right, which also represents the new timeline that was created now that we have defeated Fate by the end of Final Fantasy Remake. Now Zack is essentially alive. So these events in the world that he's in is currently different. But then you have Sephiroth himself, which they're saying that he's the instigator in all this. And many people had speculated that Sephiroth in fact knows something about these chains of events. And what Sephiroth is this? Now, in my personal opinion, Sephiroth's in the middle, which means in my personal opinion that Sephiroth has to represent third world. So what is the third world? Could it possibly be? Now, in my personal opinion, I think the third world is in fact the original Final Fantasy timeline from what I've grown up to know and love, which is the OG Final Fantasy VII. I believe that somehow this Sephiroth from the original game, personally I'm speculating that after you defeated him, that somehow something happened within the live stream itself, which allows him to pretty much traverse to many different possibilities, or him to go in the past, and by him going into the past allow him to be able to create a new branching timeline of his own will, or of his own making, or he can pretty much instigate and provoke Cloud and the others to pretty much rewrite history itself. But in order to do that, they have to defeat Fate, which he pretty much instigated that fact. So now that the cast members in this new timeline, which is Final Fantasy VII Remake, they don't know what's ahead. They don't know what lies ahead at all, because now their fate has been broken. So as far as everything is concerned, the sky's the limit. The creators and the developers themselves can go any direction with the story that they like, now that they're not chained by the past events of Final Fantasy VII, the OG version. So where could they possibly go? Why is Sephiroth doing this? Now, I know this is what sparks a lot of interest within the community itself. Now, you guys already know that when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, I prefer them to had done a one-to-one with some additional content to actually flesh out the story, not to actually go in and actually change it. And I kind of prefer the OG just with additional content, more things that could flesh out the story. They can introduce other characters, which they have done in Final Fantasy VII Remake. They could have done it as far as this direction of this 3 worlds thing going on, this multiverse or this multiple timelines. This has been done in multiple medias before, and I think this is getting kind of tiresome and tired out of how they're doing this. But the biggest question that I have as a Final Fantasy VII fan, which I am getting Rebirth because I'm still a Final Fantasy VII fan, and I still want to see, was it worth it? Will they stick the landing with this? Will this somehow exceed my expectations? Because it appears that they want to be able to give newcomers to Final Fantasy VII that same experience that we have felt as fans during the OG version of Final Fantasy VII. So they're trying to be able to satisfy both the crowds while giving the OG fans something different they can be able to digest and talk about when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. And my question is, will it be worth it? By the time we get to the end of this trilogy, will it be worth it at the end? And will they stick the landing? Will we be able to say that, hey, matter of fact, I'm glad that they did go this direction because it actually is better than the original game? That's the question. Will they be able to provide that? Will it be the definitive experience for Final Fantasy VII, that this is, you no longer need to play the OG, this is the direction, this is the game that you need to play, you don't need to play any other Final Fantasy VII, this is a definitive experience with Final Fantasy VII. So that is something that these developers need to achieve going with the trilogy of Final Fantasy VII. Will this happen? Will this be that definitive experience? So that's pretty much my overall thought to all this. They teased that Zack is definitely going to surprise you by the time you make it to the end of this game. So we have to wait and see, because I have a feeling that it definitely will surprise us for the shock value. I don't think Aerith may die. I don't think she probably is going to die at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Tifa or Cloud dies in Aerith's place instead. We just want to wait and see how this goes. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this? Knowing the fact is that we have now 3 timelines confirmed for the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. What is Sephiroth's motive? What is his goal here? What is he trying to do? And my ultimate question is he truly the big bad behind all this? Or is there something much more terrifying or much more of a bigger threat than Sephiroth himself? And I wouldn't be surprised that they give him a redemption arc and he somehow happens to be the hero that he was supposed to be, or something like that. Would not be surprised if you go that route. But definitely want to hear your thoughts. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more gaming content, especially Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy content here on this channel. This is Mugen Lord signing off. I'll see you Game Fiends later. Peace out.
YouTube.com/MugenLord. Subscribe to the channel for gaming news, updates, discussion, and live streams. Signing off.